Sometimes we stay in the box of one single solution or technology for so long that we tend to forget to look at what's outside of what we know. I know it happened to me, and this cost me years of work and learning. Want to know what happened? Stay tuned. Welcome to MacDrive, a podcast where I want you to get as much value as possible. During my years of working within the IT world and enterprise resource planning systems, I noticed that this area seemed to be unknown and overwhelming for most people. I consider myself lucky to meet great mentors who taught me how to grow a satisfying career in this field. Also, I was able to build it with no degree in IT. I've graduated as a social worker, and I truly believe anybody can learn what an ERP is and grow that knowledge to the point of getting a fun and well-paid job. Dial in if you want to get more understanding of what these systems bring to the business world, or you'd like to get more information on what possibilities and value this particular area of IT can bring to you. Before we start, just a quick one. As you've just heard in the intro, my goal here is to give as much value as I can to my listeners, and I'm giving away the best stuff and secrets I've learned through my whole career, and I'm sharing or trying to share what's new and exciting. With that in mind, I figured that the more people I can reach, the higher are the chances of good stuff to help somebody. So it's kind of like pure statistics and probability, right? So I have one shameless ask to you as you listen. If you could rate the show on whichever platform you use and share it with your friends or enemies, that would mean the world to me. And with each click, the chance of reaching someone who will benefit from the stuff that I talk about grows. So thank you in advance. Alright, now I want to take you on a journey. It's a personal story of mine, and it might just make you rethink the way you view technology and adaptation. You see, once upon a time, in the kingdom of IT and enterprise solutions, I was this young, enthusiastic consultant, rolling with the punches and trying to make my mark on the on-premise versions of Microsoft Dynamics ERP. The world was simpler then. My tools were clear and my boundaries well-defined. But, like every story with its twists and turns, Microsoft dropped the bomb. Dynamics 365 it was called. It was shiny, cloud-based, and looked like the next big thing, However, along this shift, while everyone was focusing on this new Dynamics version, there was this one massive change I, along with many others, completely glossed over. Azure. Because this wasn't just a new version. This ERP was floating in the vast Azure cloud. Now, initially, to me and several of my peers, this new was synonymous with problems. Tedious tasks, additional requirements, admin stuff, you name it. We didn't need to bother about that with the on-prem versions. But of course, like any professional, you got to adapt, right? And the new became familiar. Months, years, and projects went by, and I got used to the new system version. And to be fair, Dynamics 365, despite its shift, felt pretty much like the older sibling I grew up with, plus the bunch of new system features. So, fast forward a bit, and there I was, working at the heart of it all, Microsoft. And one fine day, I was looking over a proposed architecture by a partner company for a client. So you can imagine, proposed Dynamics modules, standard, finance, supply chain, sales, warehousing, projects, you name it. The ERP bit, while integral, was but a fraction of this colossal map, and this got my attention, because 70% at least of the activities were happening outside of Dynamics 365. And I remember pointing at the section and asking, what about invoicing? And the answer was a first revelation. They'd shifted invoicing to Azure to manage a vast volume of data without affecting system performance. And this was huge. Huge because the performance was one of the main issues in terms of the administration and customer struggles, you name it, in most of the projects I worked. Then I asked further, what about reporting? And they'd shifted it to another Azure component for better data management and guess what? Integrating it from multiple systems. Alright, what about your order planning? An answer? Yeah, we're using the Azure machine learning component here because our process is quite specific, and instead of customizing ERP's master planning engine, we've created our own that takes into consideration data not only from Dynamics but from the other systems. And trust me, my mind was in overdrive. Every process, every module that could potentially bring performance issues I pointed out, they had an Azure solution for. So the cloud wasn't just hosting Dynamics. it was enhancing and supercharging it. And really, for somebody who worked for years with that, this epiphany didn't just dawn on me. It hit like a ton of bricks, really. And I figured that this architecture wasn't just the vision of a Dynamics ERP architect. It had the knowledge of an Azure architect, a really good one, stamped all over it. They hadn't just used Dynamics. They'd paired it with the power of Azure to overcome ERP limitations. And I'll admit it was a humbling moment, really it was. Because here I was thinking I knew it all, and suddenly I was back in school. And that's when it hit me. Dynamics ERP had evolved, and with Azure the possibilities were so much bigger than I thought. Now, of course, I can't help but laugh at how long it took me to see the light. But that's precisely why I'm sharing this story with you. In today's rapid technological era, it's not just about one application or system. It's about the entire ecosystem it resides in. So, here's my 2 cents. Sometimes it's worth peeking outside of our comfort zones, because when you take that one extra step, you might just stumble on a whole new world brimming with opportunities. Now you might think, cool, let's say I have an idea of what ERP does, but what exactly was so mind-blowing that caused you a professional existential crisis, huh? Since we're jumping into quite a technical topic, let me make an offer. I'll go through some of the real-life scenarios. However, I bet you'd like to have it written down somewhere to go through it and at your own pace if anything will be interesting. So I'll do it for you and paste the link to a blog post in the description of this episode. Cool? Great. Now stay with me. Let's break down some real-world scenarios that I've come across. So scenario number 1, scalable storage with Azure Blob Storage. So imagine you're a retail business with Dynamics 365, handling thousands of product images, videos, and documents. And storing this on your ERP could bog it down. Really, it can. So you have this thing called Azure Blob Storage. And this nifty tool ensures that you can store a colossal amount of data without affecting your ERP's performance. Because it integrates seamlessly, so your data access remains smooth while you're giving the storage freedom Azure provides. Another example is advanced analytics with Azure Synapse Analytics. So once I had a client in the manufacturing sector, huge amounts of data, but they were thirsty for deeper insights. Rather than burdening Dynamics with heavy analytics, we harnessed Azure Synapse Analytics. And it's like giving Dynamics a super-powered brain, enabling real-time analytics and AI-powered insights. But the real results behind that is improved forecasting and efficient production cycles and, of course, better profitability in the end of the day. Another cool example is using the integration using Azure Logic Apps, because everybody struggled with integrating third-party apps and systems to your ERP, and this comes to the rescue, really. I've seen businesses integrate CRM systems, e-commerce platforms, and even IoT devices. Maybe not effortlessly, but definitely faster and with less hassle than in a traditional way. Another cool sales example is the AI-powered customer insights with Azure AI. And again, one of the projects that I saw was for one of the e-commerce giants, and they wanted to better understand their customers and offer personalized experiences, the things that work. And what they did, they actually integrated Dynamics 365 with Azure AI, and they could offer product recommendations, forecast trends, and even automate customer service to some extent. And the best part of that was it was based on the real-time customer data. And as well, it was run by GPT bots, etc. And this was one of the coolest examples that I saw of really harnessing the AI data, or actually AI-driven process with the company data. What you also have is something which is called real-time data replication with Azure Data Factory. So imagine, for example, a logistics company with branches globally. So what they might need, and definitely need actually, is real-time data replication across their setups. So while Dynamics can handle the core operations, Azure Data Factory ensured that data flowed seamlessly across the continents, giving every branch an up-to-date view of their operation. So it's just a few examples, but there's way more, and I think we're going to cover them in future episodes. But for now, I hope that gives you a clearer picture on how Azure isn't just a host, but a force multiplier for Dynamics 365 ERP. Because in the end of the day, it's not just about moving to the cloud. It's about maximizing that cloud to elevate your ERP experience. And trust me, if someone like me, so deeply ingrained in the on-premise world, can see the light, so can you. there's definitely a world out there beyond what we know. And apparently, this Azure thing is just waiting to show you its magic. Alright, that's it for today. Wrapping up. Thank you very much for joining. And as always, guys, stay consistent. Peace.